Okay, so this is episode 4 of the podcast.
Jeez,
I'm IJ.
I'm AG,
I'm Combo Breaker.
CB.
Same thing.
Combo Breaker.
Um, so I'm trying to think of a good segue into these episodes, but I really can't.
I think we're relatively in agreement about these episodes.
Sort of to get people up to speed. To get people up to speed. We had just gone through a large portion of Syrup Island, and they were just about to finish the fight. So
I wrote down that Luffy used his muffin brain in one of these episodes. He
It happens.
hit the muffin button, and muffins just came out, and there was nowhere to put the muffins.
All the spaghetti came right out of his
There's
pockets.
all these muffins, and he has to eat them. He has
So-
to eat the muffin.
but it was mainly just showing off the crew members and their abilities of the Black Cat Pirates, and then Kuro shows up.
Yeah.
Shows his abilities and weapons, and starts doing some stuff about that.
Yeah.
So-
I really liked this first episode. You know.
The final battle between Kuro is way better. The first couple episodes we saw are just annoying and drag on forever, but this one actually has battle that actually has weight to it.
It has a lot of momentum to it. It's not just like two guys like opposite, just like ha, ha.
Yeah, this is the first battle where there's actually motion, and it's not just wham bam, thank you man, it's over.
And it's actually interesting motion. We have a recap of the last episode and a reminder of Luffy, in a relatively intelligent move, uses a rock to take out one of the claws of Kuro.
Well, yeah, rock beats scissors, don't you know?
Obviously.
Yeah. So.
Wait, was that why they did that? It was
Yes.
just
Yep.
a gag
And
joke?
just to make it better, that scene was drawn on paper.
I still have my headphones in.
I feel so blind. I
Um,
don't appreciate the true depth of Oda-san.
So to get kind of into it, the three kids were escorting Kaya. This is episode 16. Protect Kaya.
Obviously, what else would they want to do?
And
Well,
so
at one point they decided to almost ditch her, so
Yeah,
I don't
for
know.
a second, and then
Hey,
leave me be, and I was like, we can't.
the point is to get you from point A to point B. We can't leave you and save ourselves, because the point is not for us to be safe.
and
It's for
plus,
you.
when Usopp finds out, he's probably gonna beat us up or kill us.
Well,
Or
Usopp's
both.
in no way of actually
Oh,
doing anything.
Usopp's fine. He has become Zoro's backpack. That's his new role for this episode. He's the
Isn't
worst
that-
GPS ever, though. 'Cause
Isn't that his usual role up until Wad or 7?
He
Talking
always
about-
keeps getting taken out.
What are you talking about? Until after the time skip, this motherfucker was carried.
He carried himself at one point.
So
he's like-
No, he re-rolled his character sheet to have better stats and called himself Soga King.
so you have Django basically going at killing bushes and like cutting down trees. Like there's a good scene where he's just like going there and just like
He's a
slaps
hero.
a bush like for no
He, like,
reason.
backhands that thing. He's so angry. He's like,
And
"Where are you,
starts-
kids?"
He just starts walking through trees and they start falling down because he just
Screw you,
moves
Ted
his
Turner.
chakrams and they're just cutting cleanly through a tree. So either the blades are unreasonably sharp or this guy's really strong.
I'm gonna
It's
go
probably
with
the
sharp.
first one.
He bought the Edge of Glory.
I didn't like that movie. I don't
like
like
the
Owen
song,
Wilson
though.
movies. They're not that good. What about Night at the Museum? He wasn't the main character. I'll like it sometimes. Hey.
Wait.
Yeah.
But
So what else did I want to Like, these kids are dumb as bricks, but actually reasonably smart at the same time. So a lot like Luffy.
Yeah. Speaking of Luffy, he's fighting Kuro doing his fabled rock technique, and as he's doing that, he gets Kuro so upset at him, he kind of lets slip that he was planning on killing his own men the entire time.
That wasn't obvious from the start? I mean, they really should have suspected something was up from the beginning.
Kuro then kind of goes insane, and he activates his out-of-the-back technique.
Yeah. Also, before that, there's this really cool scene between Kuro and Luffy. And I was...
Is it then? I think it's later.
No, it's...
No, it's right before, because afterwards Kuro stops talking until the final hit.
Yeah.
Oh, so, it's later. See?
I was remarking how Luffy is really lucky that Kuro is out of practice. And Kuro was really lucky that he met Luffy when he did. Because this would be a different
fight. No, like, watching the whole thing, and my thought was, man, if Luffy had observation hockey, or, like, Busho Shock...
Or Conqueror's hockey?
No, man, not even that. Don't even need that. Like, one leg, Busho Shock Koka, done.
Yeah.
Done.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, so, and,
like, even Gear 2. Even if you had Gear 2, like, this would be an entirely different story.
Yeah, but that's powers that he won't get for a very long time in the series.
And Luffy proves that even though he's relatively dense, he's actually good at reading a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Because he, like, looks back at the crowd, and they're freaking out, and he's just staring at them, like, trying to figure out why they're scared. It's like,
and then suddenly they start dropping as they have giant gashes, and he's like,
out. It's like, I should have stopped this.
So we're going to take a little pause here, and I asked Combo this question. Is he moving supersonic? He is moving faster than the eye could process, but is he moving supersonic?
Well, he kept his feet right on the ground, and really, you couldn't see him, so there was no time to look around.
I don't understand.
That's a song.
When you're supersonic racing, gotta keep your feet right on the ground.
No, but like,
what's your... He could be moving between blinks.
No, he's not moving supersonic. He's moving subsonic, because I don't hear constant explosions, and also people's eardrums aren't gone.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because it is later on in the series where it shows them moving the speed of sound, and it's actually creating, like, air pockets, like, in
the actual Geppo or Sanji Skywalk, the little explosions of air pressure are almost sonic booms, but not really. They don't have any force behind them, but they're very close to breaking sound barrier.
But they're enough for someone to stand on and do the skywalk.
They're moving fast enough that the air becomes a physical object.
Which is a thing.
But they have not shattered it like what happens with a sonic boom, in which you have broken the sound barrier to the point where you have smashed through air resistance.
Yeah.
Also, there's this line from Kuro that he says, like, right before he goes, oh, it's crazy, that it's impossible for a person like Luffy to be like Kuro. And I think that those are the very truest of words.
But Kuro didn't mean it that way. He tried to say someone like Luffy could never be as smart or powerful or successful as Kuro. But then in reality, the words are, someone with a kind heart like Luffy could never be a douche nozzle like Kuro.
And Luffy is really good at like taking something that someone says and not realizing that it's like the worst like insult ever.
Well, the problem with Luffy is he's optimistic.
A child.
He's brutally honest.
And a monkey.
/ candid. We'll learn that word later. So it's another character's favorite word coming up here in 2 episodes. 3 episodes? 2 episodes.
5th episode
Nami?
of the set.
Is it really 4 episodes from now?
It's the 5th episode.
No, his favorite word is...
And he also, like, fully believes people. He's gullible as balls. This man believes anything you tell him.
He also has an airtight strategy against the zombie apocalypse.
Pushing back down.
It's like, go back to sleep, my friend.
We'll talk about that whole thing when we get up to it. But
For what?
Luffy does a very interesting thing. This is him really early in his thing. This man is moving near sonic speeds. Okay, he catches him.
So he's only shadow.
Back of his jacket.
So
he just like.
So he's moving at near sonic speed. So he's only shadow.
Actually, shadow moves slower than the speed of light.
Ha!
The speed of shadow is slightly slower than the speed of light because it takes time for it to.
And even.
Yeah, if he wouldn't be that fast, he took off the cheaty rocket shoes, cheaty McCheater face.
He can still stop time, so it doesn't matter, right?
Chaos Troll.
Okay. So even at the point where the manga is now, there's very few characters that can match Kuro's speed. Kuro's a very quick.
And the only person to even rival him is someone that Luffy literally just beat.
Well, Luffy's close. Luffy's close. Bellamy can get there. He just requires a lot of build-up. He can't do it from Kizaru can do it right.
Well, then again, he's actually becoming light.
So Kizaru doesn't count. Because Kuro doesn't have a devil fruit. Everyone else that can get close either has a devil fruit or has a smile.
Which I think is
like really they go into the Grand Line, there's almost no team there that doesn't have like high-ranking people that have.
Because they need one to survive.
Like he doesn't find another devil fruit member to become part of his team until he gets to the Grand Line.
Shanks has no devil fruit users that we know of.
I hope he never has one.
Turns out that
I just want him to be good off of his own merit. And his own merit.
Turns out
you were wrong, Luffy. One of my crew did have a devil fruit. Who is it? The fat dude. What do you mean? He has the dimension fruit. He's actually from Boku no Hero Academia. Say hello to Fat Gum.
If that happened, I would not stop laughing.
Fat Gum's very sadistic brother.
Fat Gum doesn't believe in guns. But One Piece Fat Gum doesn't care about anything.
Kami, tell me I can leave whenever I want.
There is then a scene in which after Luffy catches him, he says, "You're right. I will never be the man that you are." Mm-hmm. And at that moment, I realized this is a very good string of episodes, even with that just little section.
Yeah, if we were just going to isolate this one episode, it would probably be the best episode we've seen so far.
It is.
Yeah, probably. Well,
it's high-level gold, but it's not platinum yet.
Yeah, it's not platinum.
Just
platinum's coming up. There is a platinum for one of the arcs coming up that I will declare as
in East Blue.
There is a platinum episode in East Blue. I wouldn't consider it my platinum overall, but if I was going from the beginning, there is an episode which I would consider platinum, and it's coming up in. I think it'll be next week.
So then you have
next week or the week after it. Because I looked at the next run of episodes. We're leaving the Baratie arc and beginning the arc.
It's in Baratie. It's during Baratie is where I would consider.
I know which episode you're talking about.
There is an episode in the Baratie arc, specifically the Baratie arc, no filler, in which I would consider the platinum of the entire East Blue saga of all 66 episodes of East Blue.
So I want to actually
this will be an interesting. Would
you guys be okay
3.
with changing it to a single platinum episode per overarch?
For big arc, one for
each large arc.
Yeah, one for East Blue, one for Marineford, one for Grand Line.
It's East Blue, Grand Line,
I'm
Water 7,
but it has to earn it. You can't just give out a platinum because it doesn't have one yet.
No,
it has to earn the
arcs cannot have.
Yeah.
Platinum.
In fact, there will be an arc that doesn't.
I am already thinking of an arc that will not have a platinum.
I think of at least 3. There will be some gold, but there won't be a platinum.
Like the entirety of the Grand Line. Really, the entirety of the Grand Line arc up to Thriller Bark.
I have to agree. But we'll see.
They're good. There's a couple goals.
There are episodes I haven't seen.
So here are the arcs with mini arcs inside of them. East Blue, Alabasta, Sky Island, Water 7, Thriller Bark, the Summit War, which is everything from the getting to Saboti to Marineford and the post-war.
Okay, can we just declare now the entirety of Summit War is platinum?
Can we just give it the star in advance and just have it be the
There's only one episode in that entire thing that's not platinum, and it's a stone.
Fishman Island Dressrosa, and then Yonko, which is our current arc, which is apparently everything from them reaching Zao to after they're done with Wano.
Past that, because they have to deal with Kaito.
No, Kaito is on Wano.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
He's hiding on a mountain somewhere else.
You were thinking of before when he first showed up.
I thought he was still in that mountain.
No, he's
at Wano. His mountain cave.
But that could change. It could change that he moved and we just didn't, and we just never heard about it.
We're only 100 chapters away from episode 1000, like...
If the final chapter is 999, everyone's gonna get upset.
No. He'll pull a Comet Awards. Chapter 999 versus Kaito. Chapter 1001.
Yeah,
1001, I think I skipped a week.
So next we have the next episode.
Well, I mean, before we talk about the next episode, we're going to talk about the fact that the way that Luffy defeats Kuro is probably one of the coolest things.
Give me a hug!
Give him a hug and then smash that.
No, it's not that part yet. That's episode 17.
That was 16.
No.
I have it written that he gives him a hug.
Because he doesn't show off the move that he does until the next season. Sorry, next.
Oh, it is in 17. The hug roll is 17.
What you're thinking about at the end of the episode is the three kids do a white flag, France. Show a white flag and then attack them.
Yeah.
So it is a France thing.
They took a shovel right up Django's crack, my guy. Right up his intergluteal crease.
He must have bruised their spines.
Bruh.
When he, broke them against the tree.
Bruh.
And I didn't blame him for the way that they beat him down. It's like,
okay.
What you think would happen, you rotten kids?
So Django is trying to attack her. And he's standing there, and as he's looking at Kaya, she walks up, takes his weapon, and points at her own throat. And I had to sit there and go,
that girl's got guts.
Did he let that happen? Why?
No, he's just dumb.
Butterfingers.
He's proven that he's as dumb as bricks.
He hypnotizes himself when he says his own name. Like, what?
But it's so weird because Combo brought this up as we were watching it. Django's voice actor later did Frankie.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Django Superstar.
Django had a hard run after the battle. I mean, he got a fire star shot from Usopp in the face. Extensive scarring. I think he got crushed by a tree almost. It took a lot to rebuild him, but they rebuilt him. They had the technology.
Well, no.
They made him a cyborg, and then he decided
to stop a train.
And then he, he gave up his life as a showman to go build ships and change his name to Frankie so no one would know it was him.
The tree fell on his foot, so he basically thought, the whole thing has to go now. All of me has to go.
You gotta throw away the whole thing. You gotta throw it all away.
Usopp is and to end off the episode, Usopp is
best
good move forward.
transition
And starts
ever.
slapping him in his wound and stop.
Stop that! Stop that!
I do believe that from the moment we see Zoro until the entire end of East Blue, he has a consistent open wound for the entirety of East Blue.
In fact, it's not going to
every single time he gets hit, it's in that open wound.
And it's just like an open gash
up until he leaves Surtville of the wound that he got from Buggy.
Yeah. And right after that...
He is still walking around with the wound from Buggy, isn't he?
They don't got time.
Forgot.
Luffy is a go kind of person. He ain't got time because you got a little boo-boo.
And Zoro is the kind of person to cut his own foot off at the slightest hint that it could inconvenience him.
So, episode 17 starts off.
Done it 3 times.
And Kuro's like, oh, now I've got to... now I've got to take you out, okay? So he shows off his technique again.
And Luffy tries to stop him.
Yeah.
He actually does. He tries.
In which
he just doesn't try very
He does
hard.
the patented Goku technique and puts him into a full Nelson.
Hey, everyone says the Goku technique. You ever try to move in a full Nelson? You ain't moving. You're done. That's it.
If I wrapped around you like that,
I would probably break you. You do not have the upper body strength to hold one of my limbs. It would be...
I got muscles.
Yeah, they're downstairs in the pot simmering with the clams and potatoes.
I like that.
So
I love them.
You then have
I like Ultimate Boss.
You then have a scene in
stole
which
my joke.
You then have a scene in which Zoro cuts the branch off of the tree to look at Django's like, what? And now Usopp has a good shot for him.
Which is great plan.
Luffy stretches his head back to do Gum Gum Bell, a new technique that he just made.
Just as Luffy's head moves back,
you have Usopp stretching all the
going
way
back at the same time.
Both stretching. There was this kind of mix. It's a really good scene.
It's a sound transition.
Mm-hmm.
Really good sound transition. Whoever was in charge of that episode understood film very well.
Or they just had Oda say, play these side by side because they were supposed to be the same effect. I'm gonna guess it was Oda.
I'm gonna guess it was him too.
So the battle is won.
He's shown that he's very intelligent.
The Black Cats start running away. The battle is won.
Because Usopp basically goes, all him was like, take him and leave. And so they left.
Gone.
And then Luffy collapses because he's out of energy.
And Nami took all of their money.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
She got him blown.
Footnote.
To be fair, Nami's a footnote for another arc.
When is there an arc that she isn't trying to take money from someone?
Arlong Park.
What are you talking about? She stole everyone's wallets at the end.
Drum Island is the only time
she didn't pay for her medicine.
Swindle someone.
She didn't pay for her medicine.
Actually, their payment was that they took Chopper with them.
So,
which is more of her paying them to essentially get lost.
I do kind of want to point out though that Luffy at this point is making a really big show of like, hey, I don't want to treat my crew like that because that's not how friends should treat each other. And this is a very consistent note with Luffy, that he views every single person that he basically interacts with and has fun with his friend. And he's not having fun with them, obviously they're his enemy. You know? He only likes people that are interesting to him. And this is something that goes on for the rest of the series, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Luffy is also really selective about the people that he chooses to really care about. Everyone else is cool, but he's selective about his friends, I think. Unless they offer him food, and then he decides to trust them a bit too much sometimes.
It is kind of interesting though that so we haven't actually been talking about it, but in the transitions between episodes, each character has a designated poster and theme song that goes along with them.
It's more of a jingle because it's super short. If it was a theme song,
as they're coming back from the commercial, Usopp now has a poster.
Yeah, I wrote that down. That it was so cool to actually hear that jingle. It's I heard it start and I knew it was.
He's
Usopp.
Officially a member of the team,
which means that we can talk about him in depth.
And we won't, because that man is shallower than his nose.
His nose is super long, though.
No, remember, you see a flashback of his mom. Clearly, he got all of his genes from her.
His mom.
His dad's nose is long. His dad's nose is long.
Yes, but his mom was Pearl, so...
And with
Mom,
the same...
Dad, how did you guys get together? Well, I saw your father, and he had such a big nose.
That I just couldn't resist.
So, I don't know. Usopp is a pretty cool member of the team. He doesn't do much, but for a while, he is kind of
He's the gag character.
He's kind of the gag character for a very long
time. One of the gag characters.
One of the 5, including Luffy himself.
Gag characters. Luffy, Usopp, Chopper, Frankie,
Zoro when he gets
Luffy,
lost.
All over again.
Another Luffy. Okay, there's a 4 Luffys.
He was able to dismantle himself, put himself into fourth.
There's at least 5 Frankies, and no one's ever going to convince me otherwise that this man has not built clones of himself at this point.
Would not surprise me.
So, we then see, again, that flashback of Usopp, where he's going about and he's showing, like, how his childhood was, and picking on lizards, which are honestly very terrified of him, which is like...
They picked on everything.
I don't know why I picked
The poor villager. It's just the face that the lizard had as it was running away, which is sheer terror. It thought it was going to die.
Screaming.
Its tail was like in the process of dropping off. It was so scared.
It's screaming externally.
So
and internally.
I'm gonna just put a point right here. There is an actual line of, I need to follow my dream, and that is very important to me. You know, and a lot of other things. This is the first time that we actually see this come up in an episode, but it's definitely not the last.
This whole series is built on dreams. Yeah. And, you know, as depressing as Usopp's story, in that, as you could tell, even not knowing about Usopp's character, that you knew that this kid was lacking attention from a constant parental figure because his mom's dead, and he basically had to raise himself, and there was probably someone else in the village who helped to make sure that he had food every day, but that was probably it. And as depressing as Usopp's story is, his story is actually the least depressing out of everyone's except for Luffy.
See, the only thing I can think of is the fact that everyone's family members are either dead, like Nami or Chopper.
Non-existent. In
the 4Kids version, she was just she was in jail.
You have Luffy, where one is dead, one is alive, but elsewhere. Same with Usopp. And then you have Sanji, who's both are alive, but he does not care for them. And my only thought is sitting here, like, these guys are like... No, actually, they talk to Chopper, so these guys are all Disney princesses. No parents, and can talk to animals.
Oh, wait.
Straw Hats are Disney princesses.
Sanji is the Disney princess. I believe he sings at one point. He talks to animals before he kills them for food. And he's a prima donna.
He's Alice.
So,
does that make Luffy Jasmine then?
No, that's BB.
Ah.
We're gonna skip over this part, and we're gonna talk about the boat. You've wanted to talk about the boat for a while.
The Going Merry.
Luffy's
I
Ariel.
saw it.
I want to be
and I was so happy.
Where the pirates are.
I want to see them fighting. Walking around on those. Is that a peg leg?
Did I do that? No, you didn't do that, you idiot.
Such a great part.
We'll get to that in a moment.
Luffy is Ariel. Established.
So let's talk about Goat Ship.
And Mary, who is the most underappreciated, never will be talked about again character. He had this boat prepared to go. He just rolled it up and gave it to them. It's like, have it! We were planning on using it if I got better, but just take it. And take Usopp too!
We'll give you the boat. Just take Usopp.
As we get to one of my favorite scenes from from most of East Blue, this is one of the best and funniest scenes from all of East Blue, in which Usopp is like, well, I've got to go with them, so I've got to pack all my stuff. So he packs all of his stuff.
All of it.
Breaks his house in the process. And it's actually a cool note that the villagers are expecting him to charge through, and they're all sad when he's late.
They set their clocks by him. He does it every morning for the last insert
10 years?
Insert time frame. Here. 10 years. I don't even know, man. One Piece doesn't know what it wants to do with time. Like, a week passes, I'm not facial hair. 2 years pass, it looks younger. What?
5 months pass, and it goes from B to E cup. Like, overnight, almost. Like, these girls don't have consistent
Puberty is a hell of a drug.
It fluctuates, except for Chopper. And especially Chopper.
Oh, Chopper.
But so...
I think Chopper loses weight in his main form.
The only thing that changed for Chopper is his hat got bigger. Like, consistently bigger.
No, it became more round.
And the ship is really cool because we even get to see a part of the inside of the ship in the next couple episodes.
Yeah, it's got a full furnished kitchen. It's got a storeroom.
This was prepared for a small crew, probably around 5 people.
10. We fit 10.
Which honestly fits
because you're implying that you
12.
Well, you're
crew then.
10 because you're gonna have minimum 2 people inside.
Mm-hmm.
1 person down in the bottom, so up to 3. 1 person's a crow's nest. You're at 4.
Helm.
Luffy as the helmsman or captain, whoever's there, so they're up to 5. You have to have deck hands. Let's give that another 4 because Mary's got a pretty sizable deck. And then you have 1 person on aft as rear lookout. That's 10 right there, and that's not even cover that, and that's covering if everyone was doing multiple jobs.
And it's perfect for Luffy's philosophy of I don't want a massive sprawling crew. I only want just 10 people. And he's got very specific roles in mind for every single one of these people.
You got the captain, the swordsman, the cook. Everyone needs a musician.
I wrote that, but we'll get to that. But,
so you have Usopp. He breaks the front of his house, and he continues to roll down the hill, going all the way down through the village until he gets there.
Zoro and Luffy just stop him with their feet, and they're just smiling at him.
And you just hear,
you're in time, man!
A crushed thank you.
And that's a broken nose and spirit.
And the cool thing is that Usopp didn't assume that they would take him with them. Which is really sweet and really sad at the same time.
Can you imagine if they said no and you had to take all that stuff in that backpack all the way back?
Well, he would have still left.
Well,
it was very implied that he was still leaving anyways. Yeah. But, he was kind of, super, relieved that he was going to go on the Mary. He was so happy. And we also get another instance of Luffy, even after he leaves, inspiring people to follow their dreams, because Kaya's about to be a doctor.
Mm-hmm. That's 2.
Yeah.
Yep. Luffy leaves an army everywhere he goes. He can't help it. The instant he opens his mouth to shove food in,
and once they start talking about accepting him into the crew, you hear the theme, the opening theme start coming through, and it's one of the most well-loved, cliches of all of anime, to have the opening theme just start, fading in on important scenes. Especially in, really devastating battles or really pivotal moments in the show. And it's noticeable that this thing doesn't happen when he defeats Kuro. It happens after he accepts Usopp as a member of his team from here on out.
Mm-hmm. And Usopp is right that Suraville Village really has 0 strategic advantage.
No.
There's nothing there.
The only thing that's there is Kaya and her money.
Yeah, and probably
Or the Pirate Warrior game's massive vegetables. I have no idea why there are massive vegetables in the background of that level. So, episode 18. How fast do you want to do this episode?
Filler, my favorite. I'm just gonna
at the same time.
I hate filler.
I'm really glad that this was a buffer episode, but not only is it filler, it's misplaced filler. This is an episode in the manga happens before Sierra Village. So in the manga, Usopp is not part of this.
Oh, he did one thing. He bought coffee for Zoro. That's it.
That is actually a summary of Usopp and Zoro's relationship as crewmates. Usopp gets something for himself and Zoro takes it.
Yeah. So, to basically go over things that actually happened, Luffy really wants a flag. He wants a flag to fly on this ship.
So he
which actually did happen before this filler episode. Which actually happened, actually happening in chronological order, but we're going back in the manga timeline to do this island and
because it really wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
And this was a really good place to put it because it offers a breather between Kuro and the easy, jazz-like theme of the Baratie. It offers something for you to get ready for the next arc, which is something that One Piece will have in the rest of its series.
Sometimes.
Yeah, some arcs they needed more time to breathe, and in some arcs, less time.
Zoe was not a filler arc. Zoe was not a filler arc.
Calling Zoe filler is like calling Wad. It's like calling Wad or 7 filler for Enos Lobby. It's just not true.
Yeah.
It's a buffer arc, but it's an important buffer arc because of the characters it introduces and the lore it introduces into the world.
Usopp was not lying when he said he was a good artist. And, so he draws a flag, and then he draws the flag that Luffy wanted.
Yep.
And, so then they get to the island, in which it's full of hybrid animals.
And there's a voice who claims to be God and will rain down God's wrath. And I wrote, Luffy's fine. He shouldn't take any damage then.
Yeah.
Jokes. Lightning jokes.
To basically go over this, this god of the island, or more of an island guardian than of what he really is basically just this creepy guy in a box. He's been stuck in a chest for years. But
literally, we are not joking. His body has fused to the box.
And so so Gaimon is this guy. He was looking all over the island with his crew members.
It's a Spy Kids 2 island, basically, with all the mismatched animals for no reason. But the coolest thing is that there's a panda bat. It's a small panda on bat wings. It looks like a large micro bat.
So, Gaimon climbs to the top of this large plateau, in which he finds more chests. But then he falls, seemingly to his death. Somehow survives after falling into a box and cracking his neck on the lip of it. How did he survive this again?
I'm not sure that he did. He could just be a ghost trapped in the box. And that's the only way he could survive. So
Luffy goes, okay, I'm going to check up the box for you. So he uses Rocket. I'm not sure if he actually uses that before, but we're mentioning it now, so it's on our list.
I have it, so I don't remember him using it. He uses it again, though.
Yeah. There was a very interesting back and forth, though, when he gets up there and says, these chests are mine, you can't have it, Gaimon. And he starts crying, going, yeah. Okay, you could have the boxes. I always thought they were empty anyway.
Because he said boxes. He didn't, very clearly he was talking about the boxes. He wasn't talking about anything inside it. Because there's nothing. There's nothing for Gaimon, which basically means that it was full of friendship treasure. Basically.
And now we leave the filler.
Bye, filler! Bye.
I hate filler so much.
There can be good filler, but this was it came after a Kuro episode. A really good Kuro episode.
Do you know what? There is actually something
really good cinematography.
There is something I need to bring up. It just needs to be a picture of the tumor bird. The pink bird with the weird tumor on its head, just sitting right here.
The Helmerock King?
What? No, it's this pink bird that sits on it. Is okay, do you know what? I'm gonna actually pull it up so you could see what I'm talking about.
Do it. Pull it up, big boy.
Where'd it go?
Into your imagination, probably.
It's gone. Bye.
I'll try to find it later. Either way, there's this pink bird that's just sitting there, and it's like, what the heck is that? So, episode 19 is Zoro's backstory, which was shown earlier in the manga, but this is actually kind of important.
Via dream sequence while Luffy.
Before we talk about it,
Danger box.
He finds the legendary box of danger.
It happens.
Full of danger balls, which I can't remember the last time I remember them using a cannonball in the series, like the Straw Hats do.
I think they dumped them overboard because they realized that they could hurt people.
Can't have that.
A true pirate never hurts anybody.
And definitely never steals.
A true pirate doesn't take what doesn't belong to them.
Yeah, Disney.
That's what a pirate does. That's a definition of
not according to Disney.
This is actually something this is something we saw earlier, and I think we commented on it on our previous podcast, our previous attempt, but of the podcast. But Zoro is very lethargic.
Yeah.
It feels like almost every single time that we see him on deck of the crew, on deck of the ship, he's just sleeping.
Well, yeah, but that's how bodybuilders are supposed to do stuff. That's how you maintain muscles. You eat, you work out, and then you sleep for 2/3 of the day.
So that you don't waste the muscle that you
You don't waste any energy. You don't expend any extra energy.
So, this flashback is Zoro as a kid goes to this dojo for sword fighting, and he wishes to challenge the dojo for. I forget. Like, is this actually like a Japanese tradition, or is this like a very like?
It's not even really even Japanese. It's super Western as well. You go into a place and you're like, I want in, so I'll fight someone to put my place in here. It's like the people who go to jail. What are you supposed to do on your first day of jail? You look for the biggest dude and you go up and punch him in the face.
No, I mean it feels like in a lot of Japanese things where someone has a dojo, they challenge them for their sign. Like, is that like an actual thing that happens, or like what's up with that? You know?
It's not something I've ever heard of. It feels way more Western to me.
Well, you're more fluent with the culture, so I was asking you.
It's very stereotyped in both cultures. It's just done differently.
So,
like, both cultures do something similar for different reasons.
So the dojo masters.
Like, I think Zoro just wanted a place to live. Because we never hear anything about his family. Like, he's still a Straw Hat that we know nothing about his blood-related family. Like, this is the farthest back it goes.
So the dojo master's daughter comes out going, I will fight you.
I share chocolate with people. I can't help myself.
Zoro grabs, like, literally every practice sword he can, shoving, like, a few of them into his mouth.
He grabs, like, 15. He grabs 5, and he just, like, ha!
I was like, what are you doing, Zoro?
I ate a bowl of swords for breakfast this morning. Yes, so? Without any milk. Alright, this way. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Zoro
That's
gets
essentially
defeated.
Zoro's character.
Zoro gets defeated.
He gets spiked through the floor. And you kind of have to hand it to the dojo master. He doesn't just throw him out. Partially because I think he took one look at Zoro. It's like, I see a future son-in-law with that guy. It's like, I don't like you, kid. You're mine now.
You seem like someone that I got along with. So, in retrospect, this is actually a very good time to show Zoro's backstory. Just because it adamantly shows that Zoro really never gives up at anything. He gets defeated, so now he must stay at this. He's gonna just stay at this dojo and he's gonna practice until he's better than her.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. And he like, cause you see it, see him like with like stone weights like in his mouth, and he's just trying to hold himself up in place. Like his jaw and teeth must be made of steel.
Well, he has to. to maintain the amount of force that would go into a sword stuck in your mouth, and you have to maintain grip on the sword.
Being able to use it, like, not only to
This man could probably bite someone's arm and, like, bite through it.
Yeah. He could probably bite through a giant's arm and, like, come out with, like, a mouthful of bone.
He could eat a giant? Man, now we know how we're going to defeat Kaido. Just gnaw his arm off. Zoro, go gum him to death.
So, but it's really important for both the Barate arc coming up and the Arlong Park arc that immediately follows.
You got a little bit of a stutter? Arlong Park arc?
Yeah, it really shows like what Zoro is capable of, and the fact that he honestly does not need to give up.
I don't think he's capable of dying. I don't think the powers that be in
turns out that his mom
the
is
actual
one of the
world
immortals
of One Piece
or something.
Secretly,
I don't
Zoro
think
is a celestial
the
dragon.
spirits and the powers that be in One Piece would allow Zoro to die.
No, he has plot armor. He's fine.
Yeah.
However, his armor is like below skin surface, so he still has wounds constantly.
Yeah.
And consistently.
And then it shows like the results of even this little bit of training. Like he's still really fast and really strong up at this point.
Also, this is the first instance of a named blade in the series.
The Wado Ichimonji.
Yeah.
It's a white sword.
But that's but that comes up later.
It's in this episode.
Yeah.
They name it, yeah, we don't have to worry about the fact that swords aren't named until way later.
Yeah. But that's also a thing in culture as well.
Oh yeah.
Named blade.
She still wins though. I forget what her name is. It's Yeah, no. I forget what her name is. It's
unimportant.
The girl?
Yeah.
Super unimportant.
You mean the girl from the splashback?
Yeah.
Kurina,
yeah.
Super unimportant.
I'm certain that we won't see any hint of her or Zoro's backstory in the future arc.
Ever again.
Or possibly where Zoro came from.
Kurina then...
Nah. We won't hear anything about this.
She,
I will eat my leg if we hear nothing about Zoro.
Should I make the A1 sauce now?
Yeah.
Don't worry, Zep's got you covered.
Just stick some barbecue sauce on there.
But he doesn't have a leg. How would he know how to prepare
He'll be Peggy the pirate.
I'm Patchy the pirate. I'm
Blindbeard the pirate.
Blindbeard, yeah. Blindbeard the pirate and Pegleg the pirate.
Peggy the pirate.
Like, I get the feeling that in this episode, Zoro saw, saw the dodo from a distance, and didn't fall in love with Kurina, but fell in love with the actual building itself. It's like, that place is mine!
That architecture, though.
That stone! That rice paper!
The beautiful angles.
Kurina wins, again, as her 2000th victory.
And Zoro, in the moment, takes it pretty well. He doesn't, spike his sword. He doesn't, throw a fit. He just, sits there, and he just, sits on it in, probably frustration.
So
this dude has been beaten about 1,000 times.
Kurina then gets real swords, pulling out the Wado Ichimonji to use.
Because Zoro, challenges her to a fight with actual swords.
Yeah.
Which, really glad that those kids are well trained, or else they really could have hurt themselves.
And he is very insistent on using multiple swords.
Even from the beginning. Even in his first one.
It's almost like he doesn't know another way to use a sword. It shows when he's in a... It shows that when he's when he was just using one sword during the fight with the Cat brothers, he was very outclassed. He almost forgot how to only use one sword.
He was even holding the sword at the angle he would hold the sword in his mouth. It was he was oh, what am I supposed to do with this thing?
So it's very interesting, but this is her 2001st win.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's
Kurina
when
basically
Kurina,
spills her heart out
because she demanded from her dad to receive the inheritance for the dojo in the future, and the dad, he basically turned her down.
And it wasn't just that she wasn't
then Zoro came out.
It wasn't the
and
fact.
Challenged her.
It wasn't the fact that she was a good swordsman. The fact that she was a female swordsman.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it does kind of sound weird to say, most females just aren't naturally as strong as males.
We don't have the muscle that you guys do. We have fat. Proportionally speaking, like, if I were your size, I would contain more fat than you do.
And it makes
sense. At this point, I contain more fat than you.
And
you know what I mean.
I do kind of like how it's not the fact that she really wants to become the strongest. The fact that she wants to prove her dad wrong is what drives her to work as hard as she does.
Mm-hmm. Ain't nothing gonna stop a girl like one with daddy issues.
Until it does.
Daddy issues.
So they make a promise to
that one of them. Her to make the promise.
That one of them will become the world's greatest swordsman. Next day, she very unceremoniously dies by falling down the stairs.
She
tripped. But what happened in the dub? Like, something even...
they didn't even show this.
Nope, this was not in the 4Kids dub, because you can't show this.
You can't show consequences of life. You can show jelly donuts.
Hey, it's in the past, just give it up. Oh.
Uh-oh.
So, I want to say that, like, in real life, most deaths are very unceremonious. Like, they just happen out of nowhere. But I want to say this.
But this death is suspicious.
You see Karina in a sword fight with an older... with an
adult. Like, twice her size.
She
3 times her muscle
winning
mass.
against him.
Like,
she's more ferocious than she was yesterday. And her dad looks up in horror.
At what he's...
Jump cuts to Zoro being told that she dies.
I never thought of it like that.
Did her father have something to do with her death?
Absolutely.
Would not surprise me. If it came out that that's what happened...
Not surprised.
Yikes!
Not surprised.
So,
no, I wouldn't be surprised. I had not even considered that, because I was concentrating more on Karina in that scene than her dad. Because I know what happens. Like, we're really far in the manga of One Piece, basically. Like, and this is, like, one of the backstories that, to right now, it hasn't been talked about for a while. Because the Straw Hat backstories, once they're done and they're told, for the most part, they don't get brought up again. But until it's like...
Here's a distinct moment, though. While he's doing his super intense training, Karina's, the dojo master comes up to Zoro and presents him with the Wado Ichimonji.
Well, Zoro asked for it first, but he clearly had the sword in hand. Like, he was waiting for Zoro to approach him. I think that he preferred Zoro over his own child.
Which is really sad to think about it. And so this is where he perfects his 3-sword style. Here's the important thing, though. When he is presenting him with the sword, the dojo master says the most important line in this entire backstory. People are such fragile things.
Which they are, actually.
But if you really think about it, in the context of the entire series, you see... like Luffy, you see Zoro, and a lot of times you see even some of the female members of his crew tank a lot of damage. But there are still consequences to taking that much damage in a battle.
Yeah, it would not surprise me, like, how it's being built up now.
Emotional and physical events
take some repercussions for what he's doing in the series.
Well, Luffy, not as much. Being rubber, he is naturally better at just
But he's expending his life.
Maybe
it's a thing. Like, it's been talked about at length. And Oda will usually, if he doesn't plan on doing anything with it, he'll bring it up once and then never bring it up again. If it happens to be brought up more than 3 times, it means he's got something on the back burner. And he's just, like, smiling. He's like, oh, wait, it'll be awesome. This is gonna be great.
So, Zoro then wakes up to their cannon practice in which Luffy then goes, "Good job, Usopp. You have now become my sniper." And then they go into the kitchen and where they talk about like what his grand strategy is. He, as captain, now has a first mate, a navigator, and a sniper. And he says immediately afterwards, "I want a musician."
We need a musician.
Well,
even though Nami was like pointing to
a cook and
no, Nami says we it was like if you want me to cook, you have to pay me. And so he goes, "Well, that's okay because I want a musician first."
Give that about 15 years, and we'll get that. 15 years plus 6 months,
For us.
It was somewhere in there.
But it is kind of interesting.
And the cook will take about 5 episodes.
Yep.
So you then have Zoro recognizing a voice of someone who is just like cutting into the side railing of the ship, like yelling for them to come out. And he comes out and he recognizes them. Let's go over to episode 20.
Here's Johnny!
Is that actually his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who
Johnny and Yosaku.
Johnny and Yosaku.
Okay.
Yosaku or Yosuku?
Yosaku.
Yosaku? Okay, I
so,
spelled it wrong.
These two brothers are basically traveling around and they recognize Zoro because they've worked with him before. Like, on different things.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Yosaku is dying of scurvy.
Which, so Nami grabs some limes and starts to feed him.
She tells Luffy and Usopp to grab some limes. They bring up a bunch of limes and squeeze into his mouth, and in the background, they then begin to start shoving limes down his throat. Yosaku starts choking only to get up, and he's fine. And Nami is sitting here like, she ain't having none of this. You should not be up. And he's like, I'm fine. Down. Done. Gone again. Johnny's back to crying. It happens. Get him some more lines.
I will bring up, though, that she knows what scurvy is because she's lived at a fruit orchard her entire life.
Which is fair.
It's like, that's why she knows about it. It makes sense.
It's magical limes.
So now they make their way to Barati, which is a floating restaurant.
They are going there.
Looks like a large fish. On the way there, they pass a Navy ship, where Yosaku and Johnny are recognized by a Navy captain named Full Body. Totally not a reference to Full Metal, because that came out 10 years after this scene.
He's the Iron Fist
Full Body. You forget how many series have come out after one?
And have gone during the One Piece cycle. Naruto, Bleach, Hunter x Hunter, Shaman King.
Hunter x Hunter is still going for how?
Shut up! No, it's not. Hunter x Hunter is done. I don't want to hear it.
No, so the anime ended.
So they make their way to Barati. Full Body recognizes Johnny and Yosaku, calls them, weak bounty hunters going after small fry. When suddenly Yosaku and Johnny, they drop all these wanted posters
that all have X's in it because they've already done it.
Yeah, and the one that isn't is a man just listed as Arlong, which Nami seems to recognize right away.
Like
her face is in shadow. You don't see her expression. She looks at it.
I will remind you the most that even that Buggy had on him was roughly around like 10,000 belly, and his wanted poster said in the thousands.
Arlong is 20 million.
And we'll find that it's well deserved. It's deserved.
We're going to the arc that's named after him.
Yeah. So Full Body decides, shoot down the ship. He doesn't like them. They're an eyesore. And Luffy accidentally, trying to launch the cannonball back, accidentally launches it into Barati, wounding the head chef. Now,
Gum Slingshot, the one and only time he uses it.
Before we get into that, specifically, we deal with the fact that we meet our newest character, Sanji the sous chef, who is the waiter for
my favorite
Full Body.
character.
Full Body is courting a woman. And
a blonde.
Is consistently being destroyed by Sanji.
We forgot to talk about something.
Which one?
Zeph's Dimmadome hat.
We're not at Zeph yet, because we didn't get to see Zeph until after we saw Sanji in Full Body.
No, he starts waiting him a lot afterwards. But we see this guy has like an amazingly tall hat that he just starts like whipping it around as like an actual weapon.
Breakdance beats rubber.
But we then have a commercial break. I found. In which we have Sanji's poster with his own music. So it tells you from the very beginning, this guy's important.
Also, because we see him in the opening, so we know he's gonna join.
Well, yeah.
Well, they go to this place to find a chef.
He is a chef, and he's the only one besides Zeph who's named.
And who's not in the outfit. And he's the only one not in the outfit.
Well, he's a sous chef. He doesn't actually, like, cook.
He's not a waiter, he's not a cook. He's a sous chef. Well, he cooks, but sous chefs do, like, appetizers and smaller things.
And wine.
So Zeph tells Luffy that for hurting the ship and hurting him, putting the head chef out of commission, Luffy is going to have to work off his debt for a year. Luffy does not agree with this because he's already waited 10 to 15 years to start his pirate journey. Well, now they get into a back and forth, and Luffy says, "I will make you let me leave in a week." And Zeph says, "I want a smile.
He's got a huge
to see
smile.
You try."
And then he kicks him in the face with breakdancing moves.
Yep.
And Luffy's face, like, he sees the peg leg, and he's horrified.
No, he thought he did it. Like,
yeah, he's like, "What have I done?" He's like, "It wasn't you."
You're an idiot.
So Sanji then has the best character introduction of any member of his crew to this point.
With wine and a towel, and he's just
serves them brown water as a soup.
Accurately, a brown water like that would be a beef stock as a soup base. It would be very much a
it's probably an appetizer.
It's less that you're eating.
Go for ramen right now, actually.
Weirdly, a soup like that'd be clear, like as a stock with probably a very small amount of roux in it. You probably would not see it as they show it in there, where they show him just eating it with a spoon. You'd have a bread selection. Yeah. You'd have a selection of like 5 or 6 different kinds of breads, because it would be based on the bread as a dip. Yeah, bread and cheese, and then it would be soup would be a dip or a base.
That actually is kind of interesting now that I think about it. Thanks for it's more like oddly concise food knowledge.
Well, it's the only thing I can think of like it's like au jus. You don't drink au jus. You eat it. With
you can, but you shouldn't.
But you eat it with a French sub with like roast beef and onions.
You can drink anything if you try hard enough.
Anything is a soup if you're brave enough.
Even rocks.
If you're brave enough.
And stupid.
So Sanji then proceeds to troll this man to death.
Giving him the wrong wine, so the guy's wine guess is wrong, embarrassing in front of the whole crew. Or, the customers.
Especially the woman he's trying to court.
Because she's too good for...
Full Body tries to put a bug in the soup to ruin him. And Sanji just replies with, "I don't know what that bug is, sir. I'm not well versed on what insects there are." And everyone's just dying.
And then he breaks the table and spills the soup.
So, let's go through real quick. I will go through the list of things Full Body does wrong in a very wonderfully short amount of time.
Like, bang.
Number 1, wastes food.
Because he could have just pulled out the bug or given him a new plate.
Yep. Number 2, he touched Sanji's hands. That's a bad. Number 3, he disrespected a woman in front of Sanji. 3 strikes and you're out, bucko.
Like, he has killed over lesser offenses.
Those are like
one of those.
Those
offenses.
are the 3 things that Sanji hates more than anything: people who waste food, people who are mean to women, and anybody that would dare disrespect a chef's hands.
Mm-hmm. Especially his chef's hands.
Which is weird because he then uses his hand to crush his face.
Well, yeah, I mean, chef's hand, is gentle enough to peel a tomato and then harsh enough to rip a duck in half. So
yeah.
He wrecks this fool. It's like, oh god.
Like,
this guy
him, he sends him through the door.
And to put it in perspective, this is a naval captain. This guy is on the
outside.
This is a guy that's supposed to be on the same level of power and authority as Morgan.
Mm-hmm. Even though Morgan had that actual answer, he was cheating.
And he was a fraud. He wasn't actually as powerful.
Well, he was powerful. He could Shrek a fool with the
he cut the fence in half.
He cut a lot of stuff in half.
Cut his life in half.
No, real fast.
Well, he did that when he tried going toe to toe with the mysterious dog, Marine guy.
Yeah,
mysterious dog Marine,
which will never
be seen in a 3-part filler series.
Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna have fun with it.
I won't be. I'm not touched.
Don't worry. If it happens at the end of one, we're gonna just like skip. We're gonna do all 3 of those episodes. If it's like near the end,
and just go. Are you kidding me?
No, we're skipping it because it's Morgan filler.
I don't like filler. Filler.
Also, there's only so much of Home Epo I can get to.
Man, use that squeaky hammer with the trigger.
And that's where we end.
I like the line from Luffy that it's like, I can't wait here for a whole year. I could be anywhere in that year. And I'm
you
like,
could do so much in a year.
In that
I would have loved it though if it then took a dramatic shift and the entire series just became Food Wars, but it's
with Luffy
and Sanji
and
becoming
Zoro?
best.
That's when they go to Navarone.
Dang it.
See. No, normally
Toriko,
for groups of episodes, when we talk about group episodes, we want to give them like an overall arcing score. I can't for this. I like the episodes, yes, but the fact that it's the end of one arc, a filler, and then beginning of another
boring filler.
If you guys want to do an episode out of like arcs by arcs,
I'm just gonna talk about these 5 episodes. I'm not gonna group these 5 episodes together. I do not recommend sitting and watching these 5 episodes at once. This is definitely you get through the catharsis of the end of one arc.
You get to an end of an arc, you pause for the day, you skip the filler if it's not necessary.
And then you start the next arc. Like
for Zoro, you have to sort of watch that
for
episode
me, I
so
prefer
you can get
when
context for the arc.
I prefer when the group of 5 episodes starts at a baseline and goes up. It can have a little bit of down as long as it ends on a high note.
Went down, and then went back to that position up.
And
this is the problem. It's not even really. We started at the top. We started at the climax of one arc, went all the way down to the bottom of a filler, and then we're right here on the growing climb up into an arc.
It's what's going to be awesome.
I would say there are. I would say that every episode besides the filler is a gold episode, and I would have to give these 5 episodes gold.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But the filler brings down the entire thing, and so you're probably going to give it like silver.
No, I'd give all of them gold, but that filler is a bronze. That filler is such a hard bronze, it's almost a stone.
But it's not,
because
he comes back. Gaiman comes back in later.
I don't want him to come back.
When? I don't
want the buggy filler arc.
Yeah, the buggy filler arc.
A new filler arc? This guy can't catch a break.
This man's is the filler hero.
Oh, you forget. He also finds a girlfriend.
Yes, he does.
Who is trapped in a jewelry chest. No, it's a woman. It's a woman that is trapped in a jewelry chest.
It's a snake with bunny ears.
Isn't that the same thing?
You mean
well,
see,
it's a
whenever
woman, a snake.
See, whenever I see whenever I see the snake with the rabbit ears, I'm just like, this is why Carrot and Hancock shouldn't make out.
But just
that's a bad pairing.
Put up the tumor burger.
That's a bad
That's a
pairing.
cursed
That's
pairing.
the word. Like, she would be dead either way.
It's almost as bad as shipping Frankie and Garp. Did you just throw up in your mouth? I think you just threw up in her mouth a little bit. Good night, everybody.
Okay, it's okay, Stacey.
It's not as bad as what you've done to me in the past. No.
But I will say,
Shrek,
the screen.
No, Shrek, do you have to go now? I'm sorry, Shadow, but our time is ogre now.
So this is what I have to deal with.
High points.
I don't live here anymore.
High points. Introduction to Sanji. Great.
High
Luffy's speech of the Kuro and how he defeats him. Great. Usopp coming onto the team. Great. Showing Zoro's backstory as context for the upcoming arc.
Fair enough.
Super great.
Just as the fact that it's context. Otherwise, it just happens. And you're just like, guess we just have his backstory now.
It's also a good ride, too. It's not intrusively bad.
No.
Like, there's nothing wrong about the flashback.
But it's not that engaging.
The filler arc does have a little bit of comedy. It's just we had to skip over it because it's filler.
My big problem with flashbacks is flashbacks always try to imply this tension. It's like, we're seeing this character in the future. Like, we know that they made it out of this.
I like the scene where...
Which is why, when you start seeing hints of his backstory later on in the series...
Oh, yeah, no,
we're best of friends! He's my hero. He's everything to me. And in the flashback, the guy is tossing the kid out the window. It's like,
good throw.
Where do these two guys meet in the middle?
See, Johnny and Yosaku need their own. They need their own series.
They get a
their
point
own
to shine.
wacky series of shenanigans.
What I want to see is, because we'll see a lot of Johnny and Yosaku here for a while.
Oh yeah, they're going to stick around for a while.
I want to see a series that just talks about them dealing with the aftermath of the arcs that Luffy and them have already gone through during the 2-year time skip.
It's like a Guildenstern and Rosencrantz are dead of One Piece.
I want to see that, but it's not them on the sides. It's during the 2 years of training for Luffy. Johnny and Yosaku go to all the places leading up to Marineford.
And they just pal around with Luffy's harem.
No, and they just see what travesties Luffy and the crew have concocted.
Unleashed upon the world.
Well, Yosaku, yes, my brother Johnny, we're gonna go visit the seat of the world government. We're gonna go take pictures, get some of the cool crushed pennies, and they show up, it's on flames, and they're just like,
Zoro, why?
But Luffy was here. Zoro's a loser.
Like, in piss, too. It's, like, written in piss. Mm-hmm. It's like, I was with an E, an A, and 2 Z's.
Well, it looks like Iron's lobby was a bust. Don't worry, we'll go to the great tourist destination of Alabasta. Covered in sand.
Wait!
Oh, no. Well,
it had sand before.
Maybe we can go visit the Sabaudi Arc. We can go visit Water 7. Ships destroyed everywhere.
It's on fire. The train is in pieces.
Well, I mean, what about Marineford? We need to go get some more wanted posters from the Navy anyway. Explosions, dead stuff, lots of ships.
There's still, like, entire holes in the ground where Whitebeard stepped, and like he's still there. In fact, they haven't moved him.
He's rigor mortis. He's stuck in the ground.
He's infused.
He has become statue. But overall, for these episodes, I'd have to go for these 5: gold, gold, bronze, gold, gold.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Glad that we could. Like, this is probably the one time that we'll agree on the whole
I cannot stand filler, and when we get these weeks where it's 2 parts of an arc filler, 2 parts of an arc, I'm going to be very unhappy.
Well, don't worry. I don't think that there's a filler in between
I'm going to bring this up, but
and Arlong Park.
Yeah, there's no fillers.
Do you feel like that we're going to get less? The arc ends, so it's a gold as the series goes on?
No.
Because
there will be parts where
they save the best stuff for the last 2 episodes of an arc.
Here's ringing.
They save the last 2 things for the end of an arc. Every cool thing that happens in One Piece is always in the last episode or 2 episodes of an arc.
It's in the last fight scene. Like, that's when things get real.
That's what I said, the last 1 or 2 episodes.
Because the actual fight of the arc isn't even, like, the end of the arc.
No, a fight of an arc is... Once the fight has started, you are now a third of the way into the arc.
I like
the last 2/3 are going to be the fight.
I like how... Not to spoil
the first arc is set up. The second arc is taking out all the minions going up to the main fight, and then when the main fight happens, usually Luffy is dealing with something,
and everyone else is trying to stop bad from happening.
And then he fights the guy, and then it's almost completely over within like an episode and a half. They defeated Kuro at the beginning of episode 17.
Yeah.
They didn't even hit,
and they get to cool down with the rest of the episode and do it in a really, like, impactful way.
Yeah.
Like, they use the end of the episode really well. Not to spoil what happens in the arc, but I like how end of Totland can basically be summarized with the Bunny Hill theme.
Well, okay. The end of Totland, yes, but the beginning of at least 80% of the arcs in this series is just the Benny Hill theme, like, played through a toaster.
Well, they were never supposed to fight the villain of that series.
On
they were supposed
slow.
to go in
through
lead.
A toaster
0.75 speed.
Dun, 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 dun.
And it's just consistently breaking down, like...
And then it's...
One piece is
up.
Like, one piece is a merry-go-round on fire.
It's a fun train on fire, though. There's, like, screams, and you're not on it, but you see the devastation that it wreaks in other people.
One Piece is if you took the big Thunder Mountain Railroad from Disneyland. It was on fire and had at least 13 more backflips in it.
Okay.
Not loops. No, I mean that train is coming off the tracks and doing aerial maneuvers, and then somehow landing back on the tracks.
And like it's got like screams of like the and it's got like screams of the robots from
you're gonna say aerobics team.
It's a Small World ride.
No, there's no one on the train. No, the train itself is the one doing the screaming.
I think we're done.
We're not done.
We're not done with this conversation, but they don't need to hear the rest of this nonsense.
Yeah, goodbye everyone.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.